What's up? My name is Dan, and you're tuned into the Greenroom, a podcast centered around all things music with a special focus on all of our homegrown artists, producers, sound engineers, everything in between. A place for them to tell their story, their journey, and what's coming up next for them. Now, our next guest, once again, I did a very, very, very nice intro, very informed intro, so I'm going to read it. And so let's go. Our next guest burst onto the scene a few years back as a producer and has gone from strength to get to new heights every year since. For those close to him, it was only a matter of time before his skills in composition, arrangement, and music production would elevate him to the status that he now currently holds. For those even closer to him, you'd know that his expertise in photography, videography, and graphic art were just branches of a vast skill tree. And it would be really hard to find a current popular reggae song that this man hasn't had a hand in. So the Green Room is very, very honored to welcome to the podcast, also Canaan.
What's up? Appreciate you for having me on, Us.
I worked really hard on the intro. I was all day.
Is that ChatGPT?
Nah, all me, brother. Second most, how have you been?
Been good, bro. Just got back from Hawaii.
Yep.
Just kind of regaining my strength.
Yeah. Just coming off the, like all the other boys, the festival period 2 weeks. One Love in there. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was busy. It was actually my first One Love. So never been before. But this time I was able to line up some sessions beforehand and record with some of the boys that you've had on before. So recorded with Fear and Johnny Sweet, and also with the Steel Pulse as well. So it was a mean week and mean experience for me.
But first time singing on stage, One Love too.
Yeah, probably last time as well.
Because we were the boys were watching and we were wondering if you because your verse was coming up and we couldn't see.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I wonder if he's gonna do it. Or I don't know if Junes was gonna do it. And then I just saw you run through the back to do it.
Man. Junes was pressuring me the whole time, trying to get me on. I was like, no, I'm like filming the other stage. But then the act finished, and I was like, oh, I guess I gotta go. But no practice, no anything, no in-ears, but it's all good.
Yeah, how was it like actually singing on stage for that first time? Was that first time on that big of a stage?
First time on any stage. So wow. I'm normally the guy either behind the scenes or in the studio kind of person. So man, I think it was a trip just seeing how many people actually knew the song. It didn't matter if I was flat or anything, or people were just vibing
just
out.
Put the mic to the crowd.
Yeah.
That's the trick. Yeah. Now, me and also, like everything, like any artist we have, man, we really want to just get to know you a bit better and no better place to start than at the beginning, bro. So tell us about Canaan, who you are, mate, where you're from, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so my name is Canaan Ene Bonifacio, born in 1998. Is that how far back you want to go?
Yeah. That's good enough.
I was born in Mangere, grew up in Papatoe,
nice.
And then I guess raised in Rewa. So I moved to Rewa when I was like 12, 13.
Southside hardy.
Like Southside all the way, bro. Grew up in church, playing in church. I guess that's where the musical foundation is from. Cool. So I think my first instrument was 12. My first instrument was 12. That
12,
make sense.
12 is
12-string guitar, bro. I started playing in church when I was 12, but my first instrument was guitar. Then our piano player, I think they left to go Samoa or something. So there was a gap. My parents are the pastors, so whatever role there was missing in church service, I guess me and my sister were voluntold to kind of fill that role. So I quickly learned piano. But then when I finished high school, for some reason I did video. I don't know why. So only entered back into music or pursued it as a career when it was lockdown. So couldn't film anything. Stuck at home. And our church actually was like doing live streams every week. So bro, we had like praise and worship, and we had to figure out a way to like record the music and then stream it live on the live stream. So those were kind of the building blocks for music production.
Nice.
Lockdown. So it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. Not being able to do anything, you have to figure out a way out
to be creative.
How to do it. Yeah, be creative.
And so you're a pastor's kid, like you just explained. So when you were growing up, what church are you from?
So our church is Life Church in Mandiroa.
Oh, nice. And growing up as pastor's kids, were they always supportive of your music?
My mom had done music with her sisters. They were Samoan band, worship band.
Nice.
Sangala Sisters was their name. So everybody's kind of musical in the family, but nobody actually pursued it as a career. So when it came around, I think I had already done the video thing, so they could see that I was capable of applying myself into something that's like freelance, in a freelance capacity. So they never had any hesitation about me doing music.
Oh, it's cool because I know there's a lot of pastors' kids in the music scene, and bands and that, and all got different experiences. I know a few of them in the crowd today.
I can see a few of them.
I won't say his name. I don't know if he's allowed to be here. But that's cool. And what about like schooling wise? Where'd you go to school in that?
So I started at Papatoetoe High School, and I finished at King's College.
Oh wow! How was So did you do music through school at Pep High as well?
Yeah, so we actually had a studio at Pep that I was fortunate enough. So like the top music students were able to use the studio.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
So I was like, bro, lunchtime, morning tea and lunchtime, everybody's out playing rugby. I was in the studio, bro. So I was just making some balafel beats in the studio by myself, me and my mates going in and recording some songs. I guess that was like my first actual introduction to you record the drums first, then you record the piano, all that kind of sequencing stuff.
And so what I know there's a lot of instruments you're like confident in, but can you name them for us, like the ones that you're confident in playing?
So I can play guitar, piano, bass. Not really drums. I did cello in intermediate and high school. It's one of the random instruments I can play, but I have like a basic proficiency of most of the instruments that I play.
And you can play the 12,
Yeah, the 12. That's one of my main. That was actually my first.
The 12,
my first instrument.
Nice. Now that's cool, because I wanted to ask, did all that proficiency come through like church and that, like, or did your parents want you to learn that stuff younger? Like, how did that come about that you were familiar?
I did guitar lessons when I was like 5 or 6 years old. My uncle was a guitar player, and he just taught me. We used to meet up every week on a Saturday.
Wow.
So me and a couple of the other boys from church learned guitar through him. But in terms of piano, it was my sister who was doing lessons, but there was, sibling rivalry kind of thing. So I saw she was taking lessons at like the Spalangi lady's house, and she'd bring back her like sheet music, and she'd like try and read the notes and play. I was like, I'm listening in the kitchen, and I'm like, I can play that. I don't need to read something to play that. So that's kind of like how I started playing piano. And then that translated into church. So.
Well, does your sister have any input in like the songs, the music you make?
Nah.
Oh, shame, sister. Canaan's up 1. Canaan's up 1-0. And so the change in school, what happened there? How come you moved over?
My parents just wanted all of us kids to have that public education and private education experience. So so my sister went to St. Cuffs, and me and my other younger sister went to King's. We all did like 2-3 years in private school, but also in the public school as well.
What was that like change in dynamic? Was that weird for you guys?
I think for me, it was okay socially, like, cause I wasn't like I said, I was locked in the studio at Pep High and stuff. So I wasn't leaving too many friends behind kind of thing. But when I went to King's, there's a different, like, it's the same. We both did NCA kind of thing, but I think there was a different kind of grind there. People were like networking in high school for like business stuff, and I guess it kind of exposed me to a different it gave me a different kind of drive in terms of what I pursue and how to pursue it and things that I have to learn. But I think that was a jump for me. Like I was a pretty good kid at Pep High, but being at the I don't know how to say this without sounding cocky, but being at the top of your game, education wise in a public school, and then getting moved to a private school where you're just like everybody else. You're at the bottom again. I think that kind of pushed me to try and excel in not only education, but anything that I do.
Would you say that's sort of just your attitude to anything? Like if it's something you're passionate about, that you want to better yourself, be the best version at that thing? Is that safe to say for you?
And I think that change definitely, that shift from one school to another definitely fostered that from a young age.
And what about musically? What was was there a different dynamic musically, like from what you were making at Pep to what you had to make at Kings?
So when you grow up in like a public school, you have your competitions like Tangata Beats. Well, back then it was Pacifica Beats. You have Smoke Free Rock Quest. Well, we had a studio at Pep as well. when I went to King's, bro, it was all classical music. There was an orchestra, choir. So I didn't really participate too much in their music scene. Actually, in my year 12, there was only 2 students in my music class.
Just 2?
Yeah.
Damn.
And so, bro, we would just muck around. Like, got nothing to do, easy as to pass. So I spent most of my time at King's in the music, just freestyling.
Yeah. Now, because I also went to, so I got a scholarship to go to Sacred Heart to play for the choir. So they got me to go over there.
Honest?
Yeah. The choir. No, I went to go. Nah. But I went to Sacred, and the same thing for me in music. Like, it's sort of it was just like a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to learn music, like you weren't learning numbers like the boys were learning. You were like learning to read music, and you had to sort of play something that fits in the orchestra.
Yeah.
And I know for a lot of the Pacific Islander boys who went to schools like that just didn't fit their way of learning.
Yeah.
So like, man, having to learn to go play cello or violin and that stuff wasn't really appealing.
Yep.
So for you, it's cool to have that different dynamic. Yeah. And I guess you having 2 of the best of both of those worlds is quite handy in your music making now.
Yeah, and I think like that move from PAP to King's, so King's has that like networking aspect, that drive aspect. But when I was at PAP, you like what you were saying, they had something for everyone. So you had your Pacifica beats where you can do your reggae and your island music. You have your rock quest where you're doing rock music. Yeah. And then like I was in random stuff, like I was in the choir, but then I was in the jazz band. So there was like a plethora of different things that you could do there. So that broad kind of experience in different genres came from PAP, but the drive came from King's, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I want to ask that because I was skimming through like your Insta, and I saw right at the bottom like there was a orchestra playing an arrangement unit.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. It's like I know in that world it's mainly Palangis, like in that profession that are doing scores for music, like arrangements for orchestras and stuff. So when I was seeing your one in there, man, it really buzzed me out. Like, what's that experience like? Like, how did that come about too?
So that was through King's. And they lucky because there was only 2 of us in the class. They like in high school you have to write your compositions and stuff. And so when I was at PAP, you could make any song, like, so you can compose like a reggae song or something, and you can get your credits to pass. At King's, we could only do like orchestral arrangements. That thing itself though, they got a quartet, like one of the New Zealand, I don't know, Auckland quartet or something like that, and they played our music right in front of us, man. That was a trip, bro.
So I was buzzing out, man.
Yeah, a real good foundation through both schools, different experiences, but good stepping stones.
Yeah, because I remember watching you earlier, like your reggae videos, and you like arranging your music. I was like, man, he's like real good. Like, I wonder how he learned it. And then I was skimming through. I was like, oh, he's been doing this for a bit, man.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to hear that there's an islander out there who's had both of those experiences. Because I know for a lot of the islanders, like sometimes if they get forced to do that classical stuff, it sort of deletes their drive to keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the boys who grew up doing like the gospel stuff, the R&B, the reggae, those boys are still doing it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And
I will say though that like for somebody who's like raised in like, for example, church where you play gospel music, and you play gospel music for like from when you're young all the way to when you're 20 in your 20s and stuff, you really develop a good ear for it.
Yeah. Okay.
But because I'm like in different genres or different experiences, I kind of have like just like the entry level experience or like basic proficiency in what I do. So there's pros and cons to sticking with a genre or sticking with a social circle. Yeah. You get really good at what you know, or you can be like kind of like
branch out.
Yeah, kind of branch out, but you there's kind of like a give or take with that.
No, that's cool. And so I guess it's real surprising for me to hear. And I think a lot of people's first introduction to Canaan, like you were doing videography stuff, like behind the camera, like doing a lot of people's weddings and stuff like that. And so how, like, from going through 2 of those schools, being quite proficient in doing music stuff, how did that not translate to doing it tertiary, like tertiary study? Like, what happened there? What was the?
Yeah. So I'm missing out a key.
Go ahead.
So my parents in 1998, the year I was born, they founded a radio station, and the radio station is still alive today. So the radio station is called Radio Samoa. So, so my parents, they have a media background. So, that was my dad's thing that he set up with my grandfather, and he's since passed on, but they've continued on the business. And they run it to this day. So there was always like a camera at home.
Okay.
I was always in and out of the radio.
Yeah, hard.
And so where video came in was we were filming. They needed some people to film with them for an event they were running. And that was when I was still in high school. So my dad had the camera around and kind of just gave it to me. And that was kind of just, my entry into video. I did I think when I was 15, I was like a cameraman for Christmas in the Park.
Oh, shit.
But the Rewa one, so Monday Dela, Christmas in the Park.
Yeah. Just as big as
yeah, more people.
More people.
And so and oh man, I remember the guy, he like paid me. Oh, I didn't even know it was paid because it's for my dad. So he was like, after the event, he was like, oh, come, let's go to the bank. And I thought, oh, he's gonna deposit his money. And so the event was like 5 hours. He came out of the car when we went to the bank, and he was like, here's some money. It was $80. And I was like, $80? Yo, man. I remember I'm like 16, 15. In hindsight, $80 for 5 hours is kind of lit.
You got robbed, bro.
Hey, Dad, who are these guys? Nah, jokes. But yeah, so that was my entry into that was my first freelance when I was 15. And then next year I had a cousin who was running an agency who needed a videography for a wedding, or a videographer for a wedding. And it was in Wellington. So my first wedding that I did was when I was 16. I flew to Wellington and filmed it with him. And just from there, I think because I was making money from video while I was still in high school, that was the reason why I pursued video instead of music. And also my mom didn't really want me to do music at that age when I was young. But so that's the video stuff, man.
Sorry, so I really don't want to gloss over what you've just said. So your parents started Radio Samoa.
Yeah.
Damn. So, yes. Sorry, I promise I did my research. I just didn't find that one out.
I don't think I've said that on a potty before, but so I don't know. I try to not make myself look like a Nippo baby. This guy's an industry plant.
Man.
But so my parents founded that in 1998. Even my studio now, it's in the same building as Radio Samoa.
So how was it growing up with parents who owned a radio station? Was it any different to?
We got to meet a lot of people growing up, like Samoan artists. So I remember meeting David.
Have you met Wayne?
Yeah, I met him just today.
No,
hey, Wayne, have you been inside the? Oh, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, he's crying. Sorry. Sorry. Keep going. Yeah.
But we met David Tua has come through, and I remember the Katinas came through when we were really young as well. Met heaps of different characters coming through the radio. I think it was cool to see. My parents were pastors and also business owners at the same time, and so they're kind of juggling both things at the same time, and it's kind of informed the way in which I conduct myself too.
That's cool, because sometimes some pastors, that is their business, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Moving on.
I think it was Catholic.
No.
Jokes.
That's a whole different crime. Sorry. Sorry. So at that age, was when you were younger, when 15, going to school and that, was music a career choice you wanted to do? Did you always think you wanted to do some music stuff?
Yeah, I think I definitely wanted to be involved in music somehow, but I didn't know any producers. I remember we had this producer come into our school to give us a talk, and his name was Anonymous. So he makes hip-hop beats and stuff.
Yep, AGA.
He's been in the game for a long time. That was the first time I saw someone who looked like me, who was living off music production. So that was definitely an inspiration from a young age. But ultimately, I decided to do the video thing after high school.
Wow. And when you were doing the video stuff, did you think that was the end of your music, or was it always in the back of your mind?
I honestly thought I was gonna jump onto doing short films and movies and stuff. Wow. I had a vision in my head in terms of video. It's still there, but just kind of parked to the side while I do this music thing, and maybe we can do both at the same time.
Bro, because I feel to be honest, they sort of go hand in hand, eh? The skills you gain from that, what you make your own your video content.
Yep.
You've done some videos for people, not yet. You've done some video clips,
music videos.
Yeah, music videos.
Yep,
so you've done all of that stuff, and so I guess both of your it's safe to say they're both your passions.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I'm still kind of utilizing both of them at the moment. There's a big focus on the music, but I think what I find is, people need video content for the music.
Hard.
It's a day and age we live in right now with social media and stuff, but don't necessarily have the connections or whatever to make that happen. So I usually put up my hand if somebody needs
That's cool, man.
needs video production after I've worked on video production. Oh wait, sorry, the other way around.
Yeah.
Music production. If never mind.
Yeah. No. And I think people gravitate towards like even your smaller content where it's like just you making your beats or just you filming something, like people gravitate towards that quality that's a bit more high quality, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they feel more inclined to watch it as opposed to someone who's just like, filming on their phone.
On the phone.
So not saying that's not like that's not awesome as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards the higher end stuff. So for that to go in hand is pretty handy for you in your career.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely a blessing that I never saw, never even thought would be useful in the music thing. But
I guess it's true because a lot of boys, they really touch on like God's plan A.
Yep.
So now you got those two things.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool as well. And now I guess we'll go focus more into the music stuff. So take us on that lockdown journey, like when you really wanted to start the music stuff. Like how did all that come about?
Yeah. So like I said, I was making the church worship music for the live stream, and then I started a TikTok account during COVID. Yeah. But it was really just to post up videos of my videography stuff, trying to restart the business after lockdown and stuff. And then I just randomly made a reggae remix, and I got like I started it off by saying turning every song into a reggae song part 1, and so I was just gonna get people like reply to people's comments, which song should I turn into next kind of thing. Funny, the one that blew up was I actually asked my wife, can you like comment this song? And then that's the one that blew up. So I was like, okay, now we can I'm gonna make heaps of burner accounts.
Nice.
But
Is that the trick?
Well, I have actually done it a few times, so I'm just being honest with you.
Hey, those are the tricks, man. People want to know this stuff, man.
Yeah, man. So I kind of gamed the game from the start. And then, man, it just blew up, and because I had nothing to do because we went into the second lockdown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I just kept it alive and kept it going, and fast forward, here we are now.
Oh, man. And because I know that's probably a lot of people's first introduction to UAE is through the TikTok stuff and making the reggae thing. I guess, was reggae always like your choice, or was it like something that you thought people were liking, so you wanted to do that? Or like, what was the choice? How did you come to that?
I was listening to reggae, similar to what Wayne was saying, like because I went to King's, like people weren't really listening to reggae, and even when I was at PEP, people were listening to like a lot of R&B, like Chris Brown and even Kanye West and stuff like that. So I had a cousin who came over. She lived in Australia, and she needed to charge her iPod, so I plugged her iPod into my computer, and that's when like I just like ripped all the music that was on her iPod.
Okay.
And on that iPod it was just like track 1, track 2. So I didn't know the names of the songs, but I would find out later like it was like Kolohekai and Langa Severe, Fiji. But I didn't even know who Fiji was back then. But so I was listening to Rebel Soldiers, all of that stuff from when I was young. I guess that's when I first got into reggae, when I was younger. But when I came to do the reggae remix thing, it was just a random idea. I think I saw someone like make a country version of a song, and I just thought, why don't we localize this and like make it into a genre that we all listen to? And so that's how the series kicked off. And man, if you listen to some of those remixes back then, I would never play them again. But I guess it's all part of the journey, like learning as you go kind of thing.
So at what point did it start blowing up to a point where you had like some bigger reggae artists reaching out to you?
Yep.
Like
so
talk us through that point.
So I think it would be the Easy On Me reggae remix that I did. Man, the song dropped on like because I study a lot, so I like watch how people maneuver in the space, and so I saw like there was a song that had just released, and then like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, DJ Noise had actually like released his I was gonna say reggae remix, but like his kind of remix to it, and I was like, that's the formula. Like get a song that you know is gonna be trending, and then make a remix of it in your own genre, and that's how you kind of capitalize on the buzz of the song. So Easy On Me had dropped on like a Wednesday or something. Man, I had the reggae remix done by Friday, so it was like I remember well, I don't know if it dropped, but that's when I first heard it.
Yeah.
So 2 days after I heard
it. Fast turnaround for the majors, yeah.
And I just put it on my Instagram, and man, it blew up like crazy. I think it's at like 2 million views now. And like it was an unofficial remix, so I didn't get paid from it. But after that, maybe like 2 weeks after that, it was the end of the year, and I had an email from Sony Music. Damn. So I had no music on my Spotify or anything, and the first Canaan NA track on Spotify was the Stan Walker remix that I did.
Oh, yeah.
So, wow. Everything like that's happened, it's kind of just snowballed, and I'm trying to like keep up with the I don't want to say attention, but like the buzz that comes from like posting content and virality. So that was the first one, Stan Walker, and it's just been up from there.
Yeah, man, that's cool because like I've explained in past podcasts, like this music community in Auckland is like quite tight knit, like, and you know who the next musicians are because you see them coming through school. And you see them coming, which in the part that you didn't do was coming through to study that stuff. Yeah,
so I didn't get to like I knew some of the boys.
Yeah,
me and Nuffle were like producing on SoundCloud. Yes, this and then me and Loss were we played rugby.
Oh yes, sorry, Lossy did tell me to ask you about rugby.
Yeah, we played rugby, and then I don't know what happened.
Can I ask?
We both quit.
What position did you play?
Water boy. But yeah, so like I knew like of the people in the scene, and I was still playing at church during all that time, so like I know people here and there, but in terms of like pursuing it, everybody else went to like mains and Excel, hard. And I kind of just picked it up like 3 years ago. So kind of definitely new to the game and the industry, but blessed to do what I do.
And I think that's important to touch on because I know for a lot of especially myself was when was like starting to do covers gigs like a while ago, I always thought, man, I need a I can't do this. I didn't have the gospel upbringing. I was like, I can't do these gigs because like my theory is not good. But I think obviously in your case you've shown that if you're just a student enough to want to learn that stuff, like seeing as where you are now, you don't not need it, but it's a skip that you can potentially like skip. Hey,
it's a skip that you need to skip.
Skip that you need to skip and play the 12 when you skip. But it's like safe to say, like you sort of built your own pathway, and now you're, but not only at the level of the boys, but I feel like you've surpassed in terms of production and that. Is that safe to say? Like
100%. Like it's definitely key. If it's definitely good to have that kind of background and upbringing, but also, man, I'm on like YouTube like 24/7 learning new tricks and stuff, and still to this day. So I think the key thing would be like to never stop. Like you never arrive kind of thing. You're still learning, and I'm still learning, and if you're passionate about it enough, you'll make it work somehow kind of thing. So yeah, man. So I was going through your socials and that, and I think you're right. Your past 3 years have just been like crazy. Like, all go
all of that stuff, man. And what's some of the I guess just to shed the limelight, and I really don't want you to be humble right now. It's like, who are some of the big artists that have come your way, just from your TikTok stuff?
Like release stuff?
We'll get released later on. We'll talk about some stuff that maybe you can say that's unreleased, but released for now.
Man, so I think it's less about the production. Like there's mean reggae producers out there in the world. I think it's more that pairing that you're talking about, like video and production together. I've been fortunate enough to do stuff with Feej, just recently with 3 Houses Down, General Fire, did stuff with Kapena as well, all the way in Hawaii. Right now, there's a big focus in my career in Hawaii. So working with a lot of up-and-coming artists there, and also people who are well-established, and trying to bridge that connection between New Zealand and Hawaii. Locally, I've done stuff with Swiss.
Stan, obviously.
Stan Walker, Standard. So a plethora, like lots of different people.
And I want to touch on the Feej stuff because I was looking at this other podcast, and he was interviewing Feej, and he was saying that you did some track, and you also did the artwork, or the video for that stuff. So like we were saying, and going hand in hand with that stuff, how was it doing the artwork for feeds like that?
Yeah, so we have a mutual connection via our distribution, and so they connected us. They messaged and said, "Sorry, I need a burp."
You guys.
So they messaged and said that Feature's looking for a graphic designer, but specifically from New Zealand. And so I was like, and I know stuff from YouTube, but like I'm not a graphic designer at all. But I just said yes. And then, bro,
have to get on the resume.
Bro, I was like, Fiji, say less. Man, I was like wanting to do a track first, but it's all good. But it's all good. Yeah, so bro, and at that time it was like 2 years ago, and AI was like just starting to like pop off, or like get introduced, and I didn't think people were using it for music, more like just like showing what AI can do. And so, man, I must have done like, I don't know how familiar you are with AI, but like, bro, I did like 100 different generations of the artwork. He gave me a brief, and it was like all of the islands coming together on the volcano, something like that.
Volcanic stuff. Talking about,
and so I was like, oh, yep. So, man, I was in Queenstown on holiday. And my wife was like, I was like, oh, I have to do this because it's Fiji. She's like, okay. So, bro, I just like doing it on my laptop in the hotel, and then I sent it through, and he was like, yeah, I love it. So that was kind of the start of our relationship. Like, I've done other stuff with Fiji. Been blessed to do a lot of stuff with him. But yeah, that was kind of the process, kind of just saying yes and learning on the job.
I think another cool thing was that I really enjoy about your music and stuff is that like you said, you've made stuff with all of these big artists that you've just talked about, but like you're not really shy to work with some up and comers as well. Like you just released a song with Follow as well. Shout out to Follow. If you don't know Follow, Follow's coming up. He's part of the Fee Joint team too and his own music. But yeah, that track is awesome. And like talk about like, is it always something you want to do, helping like up and coming artists too, or is it just when the opportunity is there, it's there for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and this is not dogging on anyone, but a lot of people will wait till they're at the top to pass the ladder down. Hard. But for me, I knew how hard it was to like the viral stuff aside, it's hard to like set up your distribution and your music video and your artwork and write songs and production, mix, master. Like there's a whole, it's a whole production to put music together. And so like I never wanted the process to get in the way of someone making great music. So man, I love working with, even though like big people have reached out to me in the industry, my I don't want to say purpose, but my intention is like really to like grow together with other people. So I mean Falau's pretty established, but I've definitely worked with people who have no catalog on, and just kind of giving them a taste of what can be possible, and then also just growing alongside them and helping them in their career. I think it's probably, if I was starting when I was young, it's probably something that I would have wanted.
Exactly.
And when I was doing video, there was no one. So I think those kind of sentiments have translated from the video into music, and that's why I'm working with big artists and like in terms of streams, like no streams. So man, it doesn't faze me. There's no ego or anything. I just want to make good stuff and bring everyone along together with me.
I think that's important also, because to me it sounds like it speaks to your like just general love of making music. Like because you really love it, you don't really, not necessarily don't care, but if the opportunity is there to make music for whoever, your love of music, making music, is like what's pushing you to do it. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think it's love for music, but also just love for making making something.
Being creative.
And man, even people with no streams or no following, they'll have mean ideas, kind of thing. And so I never wanted that to be a barrier for me to, so I've got this amount of followers means I can't work with you. Like I think that kind of perspective has to die in the industry, kind of thing.
Cool. And like you said, you touched on the Hawaii thing. You've just come back from a trip. The second time you've been there? You've been there a few times?
Yeah, second time.
Yeah. So walk us through like all of those trips, because they're obviously for work,
Yep.
So how was that?
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to I've been fortunate enough to travel with different organizations, and we were doing some video stuff there last year for Festpack. So we were shooting some content out there, and then this time when I went there, it was a self-funded trip just for music.
Wow.
So last time it was video, and man, I didn't realize how many people would ask about me, or like I walk on the street and like people ask for photos. And so I like made it a goal for me to come back. So I went this year purely with the intention of doing music, and so studio time and even just networking with people there. And back to that iPod story when I found their song. So like Rebel Soldiers had a track with I think it was Catch a Fire. And then like Tomorrow People had a track with who was it? Kolohekai. And I was just like thinking back to that era, man. There was heaps of like back and forth between, or like a connection between Hawaii and New Zealand. And when I realized like our generation doesn't necessarily have that connection. So I think one of my goals, like within the next 5 years, is to like reconnect us. We will make like island reggae music. When I went there, bro, everyone was asking about like the likes of like Sam V and stuff. So R&B. So bro, if we both have island reggae, R&B, we like, I was sharing a studio with a rapper there. So I was like, we all make the same music and we're all like the same blood kind of thing. So that's one of my goals, to like reconnect us. And bro, if we're making the same music, why not collab? True. And I think the good thing about them is they all look at like us and like just buzz out. Like they're like, man, these guys are cool, and they make good music. And we look at them and they're like US kind of, you know, they get their US placement, US radio, and they're cool too. Like it's mutual. There's a mutual benefit in connecting Hawaii and New Zealand. Everybody knows like Catch a Fire, Three Houses Down. So like all of the bands that have come before, and I think one of my goals is making New Zealand artists known in Hawaii and vice versa.
No, that's cool, because I know we're quite different in attitude towards like artists. Like, you know, in New Zealand, like we'll see someone famous as, and we'll just be like, oh look, sing. That's why I think no one's come up to me yet, because I think that's So we're like really humble over here. You know, we still want to disturb people, so that's what I'm putting it down to. But whereas when you go over there, like you just said, they come up to you and they're like, oh, you're Canaan, where's Dan? Like all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I guess the difference in attitude is something I really wanna pick on. So because I guess for some artists over here, like who might not think that their music is going anywhere, like people hear it, people definitely hear your stuff over here. I'm really hoping they hear my stuff over here too. So
100%.
And where else have you been? Anywhere else for your musicals? Like any other countries in that?
For music, just I've been to Fiji a couple of times, working with a band out in Fiji called Inside Out, and a few other artists in Fiji. So Hawaii and Fiji, probably the countries I travel to the most for music. Who's
some artists in Hawaii that you probably aren't known here, but you think we should listen out for?
So the High Water Boys, definitely. I think they dropped their latest album. I think that everyone's heard of their stuff from then, but they've been around for like the last 10 years kind of thing.
They're the Sand in My Boots?
Sand in My Boots.
That's a track too, if you want to check that one out.
So they're the ones I'm working with at the moment. I'm working on some stuff with Ja Maoli.
Oh wow!
So he's coming back and he's releasing an album. So but High Water's definitely I would say the number one export out of Hawaii that I think would do good here.
Shout out, our producers will put their stuff over here. Shout out to Simis. That's Minus. And I guess I want to touch more on your family life also, because you recently just got married,
So I got married 3 years ago.
So you want to shout out to your wife?
Shout out to my wife, Teacher. Thank you for letting me out.
So obviously she's been there through like all the lockdown and stuff too. Has she?
No, we got married in only 3 years ago.
But we used together before?
Yeah.
So how's that dynamic been with like being married and having to do your music and stuff? No real...
My wife is creative too, so she does photography. She does wedding photography. So I think in terms of like the creative life, the late nights and stuff, she's actually been like the number one support. And also like, I think she's also pushing me. Awesome. So I'm always thinking of like, I can't do this because of my wife. But she's the one who's saying like, don't worry about me, go for it. And I think you kind of need that pairing as a creator. It's hard when you have different visions. If you're married and you maybe one's not a creative or one doesn't understand the music life, you know, late at night in the studio or out at a gig or something like that. But yeah, man, she's been nothing but supportive. She was actually the one who told me to go to Hawaii.
That's mean.
So just came back.
That's cool, because I did want to touch on that, because you're not the only one. Like Johnny Sweet and Fia have both expressed how like their wives are so supportive. not only their wives, but how them and their wives have their relationship with God.
Yep.
Like that's a big part of their music journey. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that with you because I know Detro's been to all of that stuff too. She's been to all the gigs, so just wanted to show your wife some love, so you don't get in trouble when you get home. But yeah, the next part was, I think this is the time. Yeah, man, tell us what's coming. What's some stuff you can tell us?
Yep.
Some collabs or give us some good stuff, Mosul.
Yeah, I'm definitely dropping a solo album this year.
Nice. Yes,
it was
sir.
but I've also said that last year and the year before, so we'll see if it happens.
Nice.
But now we finally got the ball rolling, and it's kind of gonna be like DJ Khaled but reggae. So I'm producing the whole album.
Wow, nice.
And just getting all my friends to kind of sing, write originals to
Any more
it.
singing? You're gonna sing some more?
Yeah, no. But yeah, so it's just gonna get all my friends and different people. I think there's a couple tracks open. If
yes, sir. I'll be on
if
those
Wayno
ones.
wants to jump on. Nah, just kidding.
All right, that's all. Yeah.
Nah,
that's so mean because I know a lot of people are waiting on more music from you and stuff. Eh? And what about the every song's a reggae song stuff? Is that still gonna be playing in the background, or are you moving on from that?
I think that's definitely a staple, but I think I'm probably tired of it creatively because it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you've heard some of my reggae remixes where I'm like, bro, I'm switching up the beat majorly, switching up the chord progression, just because it's easy to add like a one-drop beat to a song. So I think it'll always be there, but I want to focus more on original music this year. And so that's a solo project. But in terms of other work with other people, definitely continuing the work with Hawaii. So we did some stuff with Johnny Sweet and Fear while they were here.
I heard that Chakus, they did a bit of a
Oh yeah?
Oh
shucks.
That was banger. At least a third verse from someone else.
Yeah. Wait, no, are you free?
This is gonna air next year.
So working with them, we got some stuff. Like I said, Jamali. Who else? Yeah, we're working on the second album for the High Water Boys. The vault was crazy with the every song is a reggae song stuff. There's been heaps of projects that are incomplete but waiting for the right time to release.
I think my favorite remix you did was when Jerry sang that song about his first cousin.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, that was a good
original song.
Yeah, his original song. What was the one, Jerry?
It's called Jerry's First Cousin.
They're gonna post it up. We're gonna post it in the link, and you can watch Jerry sing about his first cousin. I don't know what, but you can hear that one. The other thing I wanted to ask was, is there any plans to like branch outside of the reggae stuff? Is there any plans to do that?
I kind of done some R&B stuff, and some Afro stuff last year.
Yeah.
I think reggae will always be the pocket, but I'm not opposed to exploring.
Nice.
I think that would be a good challenge for me too, so to kind of branch out into different genres, or even incorporate that kind of stuff into reggae.
That's cool. So I'm sort of because I'm loving Fear stuff. Like he mixes the sort of R&B and reggae that stuff too. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, the track I heard is awesome. So hopefully that comes to fruition. It's not just a demo for a bit. Yeah. That'll be really cool also. And what I always want to do with people on the poddies is about like your advice to someone, like because there's always going to be someone that's in your situation. And there's always someone in that situation that is thinking they're the only one like growing up. So for some young male, some young female that's sitting at school that they know they're not going to go on to study music tertiary, however that's said.
Did you study tertiary?
Yeah, I studied tertiary at Mains, and I got a master's in basketball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's master's in basketball down the road with Dulas. Dulas always took me to play basketball. Always told me to skip class. Sorry, never mind. But yeah, so what's your advice to someone that's going through your same situation? Like, what'd you say to them?
Yeah, I would say it's never too late to enter a field if you're that passionate about it. You have the resources at your fingertips. You got YouTube, you got Reddit, you got ChatGPT. Man, even the other day, I was like trying to figure out how to master something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't I don't know how to use the plugin. Bro, I was on ChatGPT, how to use this, like, well, it was an ozone. So man, like even to this day, I'm still learning. I think that is also another thing. Never stop learning. Never think you're at the top. Maintain a humble posture. The other thing I would say is that when you enter an industry, you don't, how do I say this? you're entering something that's already established.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. There's conventions and behaviors and things that happen within that industry that, you know, sometimes you might feel you have to conform to.
Yeah. Yeah.
For myself, one of my main things is to maintain who I am.
Yes, sir.
In the industry. And I think for anyone who's entering anything, doesn't have to be music, could be corporate or whatever, is to like always know who you are.
Yeah.
And obviously you're gonna learn things along the way.
Yeah.
So those things you can make an informed decisions to change you. But man, don't just let everything come at you and, you know, all of a sudden you're completely different to who you were before.
Hard.
I think it's being intentional about your character in that field that you're in. Yeah, always know yourself.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I want to touch on that actually, because you've been in the industry for like about three proper years now.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 proper years now. And has there been situations where, you know, you've been someone tried to nudge you in directions you don't want to go? So that's why obviously you've touched on it. Yeah. Without going into specifics, if you want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'll tell the story. I never told this before. I think my close friends have seen it.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I had somebody's label reach out to me to do a reggae remix for a song. Yeah. And the song goes, "Call me if you want, call me if you need." Okay. So what's his name? What's that guy's name?
I don't even know.
Old Town Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
Lil Nas X's team reached out to me to make a reggae remix to that one of him with
That's
the devil's
his favorite artist.
Yeah, the devil's dancing on the stripper pole.
Yeah, that's why I heard it from. He was playing me the other day. Yeah.
But in terms of like, you know, what aligns with what I believe in and stuff, I was like, I don't want to make reggae music to like someone dancing on a pole and it's like devil. So that's a classic story of like.
Oh, some.
But I let them know that Wayno wants to do a reggae remix.
Man, and that would have had to be like quite a big bag for you to turn down.
And that was before Stan Walker. So that was before Stan Walker, and they reached out to me still after Easy on Me, and I didn't blink twice. I said no. Man. Like the money didn't lure me.
Yeah.
Because you know what's more paramount than money is who I am and what I believe.
Your morals.
My morals. My character. And so I just said no, and then I went back to them and said, "What about another song?" So I was thinking Old Town Road, but they wanted that song. I said, "Oh, no thanks." So yeah, that would be an example of not letting your morals be swayed by fame or money. Bro, if I did that, I don't know now because that was ages ago. But man, who knows? I could have been way bigger than I am right now if I had sacrificed what I believe in and did that. But yeah, so yeah.
Or even if you did do it and you still had the same success, that's something that you'll be in the back of your mind all the time.
Yeah. And then when people come up to me, okay, that's that devil guy. So yeah.
Wow, man. Oh, wow, that's such a fuzzy story.
Yeah.
Man, awesome.
Exclusive.
Yeah, hard, man. Right here on the Greenroom podcast. Nah, that's awesome. And yeah, I guess in terms of your videography stuff, you got plans to do more of that stuff, or does that just come with the music?
So last year I probably did like 30% video work and 70% video work and 30% music. This year I kind of want to flip that and focus more on the music stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the goal for this year. I think I'll always return to it. It's a good source of income for me. But passionate more about music at this point.
And one thing I was sort of interested in, because I know a lot of people think about it, like obviously you're doing the covers, like the reggae covers you have been doing. What's the process of that? Like, how are you able to release that, like with the original artists? How does all of that stuff work?
Yeah, so my distributor gets just like a blanket license in order to be able to release covers. Yeah. And then they kind of sort out the back end. So yeah, shout out to Precise. Yeah,
no, that's cool, because I think a lot of people will be inspired by what you've done, and they'll probably want to follow suit. So I think it's important for them to know that you're not just doing this like and just checking it out there, like you're going about it the right way.
Yeah. And I think also like, so if you do like a bootleg remix where you use the acapella from the original song, that's a copyright infringement, one, but also two, you don't get paid from that. Right. Okay. So the artist would claim it. But if you get somebody else to sing the song, then it's categorized as a cover. Yeah. And so the original writer will get the publishing from it. Right. which is like the songwriting royalties of like the lyrics.
Yeah.
But because it's a new composition, it's a new master, so you get the master royalty. So the song royalty is kind of cut in half because it's a cover, it's not an original.
Yep.
But that way you're able to get it onto Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you did the bootleg way, you could probably only put it on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, no, cool. So, and any like, what's your bucket list collab that you're trying to get done or that's coming soon, or is it in the works already?
Bucket list. I think maybe last year I was like, I want to work with Feej and Boog and Rebel Soldiers and I've been fortunate enough to meet them all, and like after meeting with them and talking with them, I was like, actually I just wanted to meet them kind of thing. I don't necessarily have to put out a body of work with them. So I think the bucket list is empty. I just want to help the industry, and whoever comes my way, I'm happy to work.
Sweet also.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything you want to say to anyone listening about yourself, or something you want to express to people who are listening? Yeah,
I think 3 years into the music journey, I think one of the biggest gaps I've seen is not the video content, but the business side of music. And I think people need it. Artists, budding artists, up and coming artists, learn how music works, the industry, the streaming side.
Visas for America?
Visas, for sure. One. Make sure you sort that before you travel.
So you
those
get
kind
banned.
of things.
That's cool.
But all of the business side and like learning how reports work and how to monetize your content on all different social media platforms. I think that's a key. That's a gap in a lot of people's knowledge as an artist or even as a producer. That's
awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Moso. So many good gems that you've dropped, and especially just people getting to know the producer, the man you are, because I know a lot of people just see you doing your tracks and doing your TikToks and that. A couple rapid fire questions before we get out of those. Two songs that you want people to listen to that you're proud to say that you produced those ones.
Yep. Number one would be Handyman. It's an original song with me and Tione Toki.
Yep.
I'll spend a lot of time on that one. And also, I'll shout out to my also Falau. We did a reggae cover of Celine Dion, That's the Way It Is.
Yep.
Those are probably my two favorite songs of mine that I've produced recently.
Sick most. And best bakery in Auckland, in your opinion?
Tis Bakery Rewa.
Tis Bakery Rewa. Shout out to AWOL. Nice to go to their bakery as well. That's the one. Don't shoot me. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. No, I'm sacking it. But I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time also.
Shucks.
Hopefully we get you on again a bit later on to express your journey then.
Appreciate it. And we got to work too.
Yes, for sure. A few songs coming so people can come up and say hi to me more, because I know they're just a bit shy. To come and see me. Thank you so much again. Thank you for your time. Appreciate all the gems you've dropped today, Mauso, and we hope all the best for this year. We know it's going to be a big one, especially because you're working with me.
Appreciate it. That's us.
Once again, shout out. This is the Greenroom Podcast. Stop clapping, Wayne. This is the Greenroom Podcast. Shout out to Elevate Studios. We're going to be back. And like I always say, please stream it because we need some more money. Let's go.